Prosecutors announced charges today against the man they say killed 2 officers in Palm Springs. Find out what he could be facing.
UCLA and USC students are speaking out in support of some propositions on the upcoming California ballot.
And Donald Trump continued to lash out today at Hillary Clinton and the GOP leadership.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Riverside County District Attorney Michael Hestron filed charges today against the alleged killer of 2 Palm Spring officers. Good evening, I'm Ryan Thompson.
And I'm Sonica Bargo. John Hernandez Felix could face the death penalty. Prosecutors say John Felix shot and killed 2 Palm Springs police officers on Saturday. He is being charged with murder, attempted murder, and several other crimes. Officers were responding to a family disturbance call on Saturday when a man opened fire from inside his home. 2 officers died later at the hospital.
Mr. Felix has been charged with 2 counts of murder for the killings, first-degree murder, for the killings of Officer Jose Gilbert Vega and Officer Leslie Zarebny.
The district attorney's office will decide in the next 3 weeks whether to seek the death penalty.
A shooting at a fast food restaurant in Harbor City left 2 people dead. An employee says the owner was one of those killed. Police do say that they're not releasing the victim names, though, until families are notified. The shooting occurred at 9:30 this morning at Bob's Hamburgers along Pacific Coast Highway, about half an hour south of USC. Police do not have a description of the suspect yet, nor a motive. New York Knicks point guard Derrick Rose was back in court today in Los Angeles. Let's check in with John Marcus for more. John?
Thanks, Ryan. Testimony resumed today in the trial of New York Knicks point guard Derrick Rose. Along with 2 others, Rose has been accused by his ex-girlfriend of drugging and raping her back in 2013 in her LA apartment. Despite protests from Rose's legal team, the judge is not calling for a mistrial. While Rose's trial continues, an investigation is now underway regarding the death of a Los Angeles police detective who was part of the team investigating the rape allegation against Rose. Detective Nadine Hernandez was found dead yesterday around 2:45 p.m. of a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest. Whittier police say her death is being investigated as a suicide. Hernandez was a 19-year veteran of the LAPD. Hernandez was a member of the Special Assault Section of the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division. This adds a new element to the ongoing investigation of the Knicks point guard. Sonica?
Thanks, John. Wells Fargo announced today that its CEO, John Stumpf, is resigning effective immediately. Wells Fargo has been under fire since the discovery that the bank opened millions of accounts without their customers' knowledge. Wells Fargo's Chief Operating Officer, Tim Sloan, will take over as CEO. And the 7-woman, 5-man jury did not reach a verdict after the first day of deliberations in the trial of one of the teenagers accused of murdering USC engineering student Shinran Ji. Prosecutors say 18-year-old Alejandro Guerrero and 3 others attacked the 24-year-old student 2 years ago while he was walking home from campus. Deliberations will resume tomorrow.
Students at both USC and UCLA learned about ballot measures they may be voting on this November, 2 of which aim to ban plastic bags. Annenberg Media's Tommy Brooksbank shows us how students are getting out the word on this issue.
Hi, how are you? Would you like to help us ban plastic bags in California?
A UCLA student leadership group held a news conference today to show their support for Proposition 67. Club members dressed up in costumes, held signs, and discussed the ballot measure with other students, aiming to raise awareness of the issue.
Now, a yes on Proposition 67 would uphold the state's current ban on plastic bags, hoping to reduce the state's ecological footprint and prevent bags like this from ending up with marine life.
We're making sure that everyone knows to vote yes to protect it so that plastic bags are stopped from polluting our oceans and killing our marine life.
What we do in California has a big impact not only on the United States but globally. So if we change things in California, we're setting a path for the rest of the country.
Here at USC, the Monterey Bay Aquarium also hosted a science summit today in support of the proposition. Speakers at the event use interactive diagrams to show the effects plastic bags have on the oceans.
More plastic in the oceans than fish by the year 2050. Just think about that. We hope that you enjoyed today's event. that you're inspired to take action, and that you share what you've learned with others.
Opponents to the proposition say plastic bags only account for a small amount of plastics in the oceans. They say the ban would be an unnecessary inconvenience. A separate ballot measure will also work in tandem with Prop 67 by adding a 10-cent tax on reusable grocery bag sales. The funds will be allocated for the Wildlife Conservation Board. For Annenberg Media, I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
Hurricane Matthew continues to displace residents of North Carolina days after landfall. Thousands are being forced to leave their homes as floodwaters along the Neuse and Tar rivers continue to rise.
It was dark, and when I went to get on the highway, although I couldn't see the water, I could feel it. And it didn't seem like I was going onto an interstate. It seemed like I was driving my truck into the river.
The floods have hit the city of Lumberton particularly hard. Thousands of residents there are sleeping in shelters after authorities had to rescue 1,500 people stranded by rising waters. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory spoke about the situation in Lumberton and pledged the state's full support.
We literally have hundreds upon hundreds of people in shelters not knowing what tomorrow brings because they don't know the condition of their houses or their apartments. And they're right now in schools, some schools that are without power.
Hurricane Matthew continues to cause flooding through North Carolina. Police and firefighters are urging citizens to get out before conditions get worse.
Donald Trump is under fire again today. The New York Times is reporting that 2 women say Donald Trump touched them inappropriately. One of the instances happened over 3 decades ago. Trump denied sexually assaulting women during the presidential debate on Sunday. And this comes after a federal judge agreed to extend the voter registration deadline in Florida to October 18th due to the damage caused by Hurricane Matthew. Trump was in the state today and he encouraged his supporters to take advantage of the extra time.
If you're not registered, get the hell out of here, okay? Leave right now and go and register. They just extended it for a little while, so right after, raise your right hand. Do you promise you're going to register after this?
Trump also expressed his frustration with GOP leaders who have turned against him. Several high-ranking members of the GOP have withdrawn their support after tapes of Trump's lewd comments about women were released last week.
Wouldn't you think that Paul Ryan would call and say, good going? There's a whole sinister deal going on, especially when you have the leaders not putting their weight behind the people.
Trump also said during his rally that Election Day is November 28th. Later in his speech, he mentioned the correct date, November 8th, but social media users were quick to mock his mistake.
Hillary Clinton campaigned in Colorado and Nevada today, focusing on her qualifications for the Oval Office. Experts say the campaign swing through the West is part of an effort to increase her lead in the polls. On the campaign stoop, Clinton denounced Donald Trump's negative campaign tactics. She called the strategy a desperate move to gain support in the final stretch of the campaign.
4 weeks of this race. Now that just shows how desperate they are. That's all they have left. Pure negativity, pessimism, and we're not going to let Donald Trump get away with it, are we?
Clinton will continue her West Coast visit on Thursday with the rally planned in San Francisco. She will look to bolster her support in the final weeks of the campaign. Russia is in hot water today after a series of accusations were made by officials in Washington.
Our political anchor, Rosalind Niklawi, has more.
Today, the White House voiced concerns that Russia is still interfering with U.S. elections. Last week, FBI officials tied Russia to the DNC hack in July. And today, the Clinton campaign chairman, John Podesta, accused Russian actors of hacking his emails. The damaging emails show Clinton's campaign communication director, Jennifer Palmieri, joking about Catholics and evangelicals to Podesta. The White House press secretary addressed the issue.
Per the analysis of the intelligence community, is that Russia was interested in destabilizing, or at least attempting to destabilize, the U.S. political system.
During an interview between CNN's Christiane Amanpour and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, the politician vehemently denied allegations of Russian interference in the election, though it's not clear exactly which of the hacking allegations Lavrov is denying.
It's flattering, as I said, but it has nothing, to be explained by the facts. We have not seen a single fact.
The interview took a bizarre turn when Amanpour asked the foreign minister what he thought of the current U.S. election. Lavrov used some colorful language to describe the candidates.
There are so many pussies around your presidential campaign on both sides that I prefer not to comment about this.
USC professor Douglas Becker doesn't believe the hacks are necessarily the work of the Russian government, but he hopes the issue will promote dialogue on the election transparency.
I actually am fairly skeptical that the interference is at a kind of high level that would compel a government, some sort of government reaction. The call for transparency when countries are trying to influence one another's elections, if that's what comes out of this, that the entire election process becomes more transparent.
U.S.-Russia relations have deteriorated during the hacking scandal. The U.S. ambassador to Russia, Sergei Kislyak, described their relationship as, quote, the lowest point since the Cold War.
The U.S. Secretary of Education stopped by USC today. Stay tuned for more on why he visited the Trojan family.
And today marks the holiest day in the Jewish calendar. We spoke with one leader at USC's Hillel who explained what makes this day so special.
And Parkinson's disease affects up to 1 million people in the United States, but one Orange County gym is helping men and women fight back. We'll have the story.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
Today marks the holiest holiday in the Jewish religion, Yom Kippur. It began last night and extends until tonight at sundown. This is a time for Jewish people to fast and ask forgiveness for their sins.
The Day of Atonement, it kind of is a culmination of this month-long period of reflection within our Jewish tradition. We're really supposed to take a deep look within our own selves. We do something called a cheshbon nefesh, which is a check within our soul. And Yom Kippur is really the culmination of all of this.
The USC Hillel organization hosted students for prayer services in the morning, which included readings from the Torah, the religion's most sacred text. Jewish people believe God inscribes the names of the righteous in the Book of Life during the holiday. Because Yom Kippur comes at the beginning of the Jewish calendar, observers say they feel a sense of renewal.
For me personally, for all of us, I think that this is just a huge day of introspection and setting an intention for the year ahead.
The services end with a traditional sounding of a ram's horn called a shofar. Afterwards, many families and friends gather to break their fast for the first time in 24 hours.
The U.S. Education Secretary visited USC today to discuss new regulations that allow states to decide how to measure the success of their teachers. The rules, which go into effect today, are designed to improve teacher training.
We see these kinds of conversations as an opportunity to learn and to continuously get better, and also to lift up the work that states are now going to have to do with stakeholders like the ones around this table to figure out what's the right system for each state.
California is the most diverse student population in the country. It's not a joke to say that California invents the future every day. And so if we want to develop teacher training programs for the future of America, this is a pretty good place to start.
USC School of Education aims to develop new ways for students to learn. Many teachers are using technology to better connect with their students.
So if you give them that technology and teach them how to use these resources at home and on their own, they really have more accessibility to help themselves as well.
Educators say that as technology is used more in classrooms, training teachers how to best use it will become even more critical. Well, it has cooled down significantly since last week.
Yeah, and hopefully it will stay this way and not get too hot again. Let's check in with James McDaniels for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, guys, it's going to be looking good for the next couple of days for sure. We'll get to your 5-day forecast here in a bit. But first, let's take a look outside right now. Current conditions, we got sunny, fair skies, 66 degrees, nice temperature, but we are a little bit humid at 68%. Now, as we head to the big map, let's head, as we always do, to the east first. Riverside's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow. San Bernardino's going to be a little bit chilly at 61, but Palm Springs is going to be heating up to 91 degrees. As we head over to the coast, it's going to be 67 in Malibu tomorrow. Thousand Oaks will be 77 degrees, and Northridge will get up to 79. Now, as we head towards downtown, we're going to be seeing a big mix of mid-70s to maybe the lower 80s. We're going to see 73 degrees here at USC, and maybe even reach 80 degrees in Ontario. Now, as we head to our 5-day forecast, we've got a lot of great temperatures coming up for you. It's going to be low to mid-70s for the next 5 days. So it's going to be a beautiful weekend if you're going to be doing anything outdoors.
Well, I am very glad that the weather is going to be nice. I'm going up to the mountains later this weekend, so that should be good.
Yeah, those are the temperatures I like to see. Thank you so much, James. Nearly 1 million people in the United States suffer from Parkinson's disease, an incurable disorder affecting movement and brain function. But now one local gym is fighting back against the disease using a unique method. Annenberg Media's Kristen Lago has more.
Rich McGann never thought he'd be a boxer.
I've never been a set of boxing gloves. I hadn't had a set of boxing gloves on since 1962 when I was in the Marine Corps. And they came back on and it feels great.
He put the gloves back on when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, characterized by symptoms like shaking and slowness of movement.
This disease is not going to defeat me. It's not going to make me change anything, be any different in my life, and I'm doing everything I can do possibly to physically counter that.
Including trying out Rock Steady Boxing. It's a program that uses specialized exercising to slow down the progression of Parkinson's symptoms. And encourages its boxers to focus on what they can do rather than what they can't.
Sorry about that. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, we're going to go to sports now. It's October, and it's not just the season of carving out jack-o'-lanterns.
Yep, it's also playoff season for baseball. Let's see what John Marcus has cooking.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, that's right. Fall is here, and that swing is looking pretty nice for the Cubs, Indians, and Blue Jays. And USC football is getting ready for a dance with the Wildcats in Tucson this weekend. And finally, in Marcus's moment, we look at a remarkable come-from-behind win last night in San Francisco.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to ATVN. The Trojans are riding a 2-game winning streak at the Coliseum, and they're hoping to push their luck this weekend as they head to Tucson, where they'll take on the Arizona Wildcats. Under redshirt freshman Sam Darnold, the change continues to be a spark plug for the entire team, with veteran leaders Juju Smith-Schuster and Justin Davis excelling as of late. Darnold hopes that they can keep the energy going and ride this wave into the Pac-12 championship.
No one can stop us so far.
if we don't turn it over. So we're only killing ourselves, and we're going to go as far as we want ourselves to go, to be honest with you.
With a win this Saturday, with a win this Saturday, the Trojans have a chance to improve their position within the Pac-12 South and jump into third place. With Arizona State and Colorado facing off this weekend, there is also a good chance the Trojans can make a substantial leap. The Trojans will need to stay hydrated as kickoff is set for 12:30 p.m., where it will be a toasty 91 degrees at sunny Arizona Stadium. This will be the team's first chance at having a record over 500. Moving over to the soccer pitch, the women of Troy are coming off of an interesting week. They upset #1 ranked team in the country, Stanford, on Thursday, and then they lost to unranked California. Coach Kadani McAlpine hopes that the team can bounce back this weekend at Arizona State.
A lot this week is trying to just recharge after a loss. You know, it's been a while, so we haven't had to face that. So a lot of it's just trying to get back into focus, get our chemistry and rhythm back. But, you know, we feel going back to the basics, nothing too hard, nothing too extreme.
6th-ranked women of Troy play this Saturday at 6 p.m. and will then return home to take on Washington and Washington State next week. Moving over to volleyball, the women of Troy are looking to recover after a shutout loss to Arizona last Friday night. Coach Mick Haley hopes that his team can focus up for the upcoming 2-game road trip.
Oregon's tied for first place. They've only lost one match. They just dismantled Washington State, which was in first place a week or so ago.
The women of Troy face off against number 16 Oregon on Friday at 8 p.m., followed by Oregon State for a Sunday afternoon match. After the first 5 weeks of the season, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick will get his first start of the season this Sunday versus the Bills, after 345 days on the bench. This will also be his first start since starting his kneeling protest during the singing of the national anthem.
I had a brief conversation before we got going to practice. Told me I was up this week. Excited about it. Ready to go. Hoping I can bring up more to this team and try to get us a win.
Kaepernick will be taking Blaine Gabbert's spot in the lineup after the Niners started the season at 1-4. Moving over to baseball, the Dodgers forced a Game 5 in the NLDS against the Washington Nationals in a thrilling Wednesday matinee. Dodgers ace Clayton Kershaw went off of 3 days rest in the hopes of avoiding elimination, and in the bottom of the first, Adrian Gonzalez knocked this beautiful 2-run shot all the way to right center, bringing in the Red Dream, Justin Turner. Then the top of the 7th, the Nationals managed to tie it up at 5 apiece. Hope was running out for the Dodgers, but then Chase Utley comes to the bat, hits this ground ball into right field. It goes in. That brings in Andrew Toles. He comes all the way home from second base for the go-ahead run. Game 5 is scheduled for tomorrow night with a 5 p.m. first pitch. While that game was amazing, in last night's other NLDS matchup, the Chicago Cubs pulled off a 9th-inning comeback to take the Game 4 away from the San Francisco Giants. They clinched their spot in the National League Championship Series. Let's take a look and see how they pulled it off in this week's Marcus's Moment. In this one, the Giants were leading 5-2 in the top of the 9th, and with no outs, look at this. They come through, Wilson comes in to score, and then Javier Baez lines this single into center. That brings in the go-ahead and game-winning runs. And that's it. Chicago takes the lead, and that brings in Aroldis Chapman for the bottom of the 9th, and he gets this strikeout, and the Giants are eliminated. That does it. The Chicago Cubs are going to the League Championship Series. Well, the curse of the even year is over now for us Dodger fans as the Giants have lost. The Cubs will play the winner of tomorrow's Dodgers-Nationals Game 5. And you know what? It's been 108 years since the Chicago Cubs have won the World Series. Is this the year?
It could be. I'm from Chicago, so I know I have a lot of friends back home who are celebrating really hard after that comeback.
I mean, how do you kids not be excited? You know, you didn't take a goat the second time.
Well, you know what? There's always been a lot of jinxes. There's been someone tattooed that the Cubs won this year. You know, there's always been a thing from the catch over the left field wall, from, oh, we're going to win, and then the Cubs lose. The Cubs have the worst luck in all of baseball, but I really feel like Major League Baseball really wants the Cubs to finally get in there and win. It was the highest rated game for Fox Sports ever in their history. It's just been a great time for baseball with the Cubs doing this well. You know, Dodgers-Nationals, though, tomorrow night, it's going to be a fun game to watch here in L.A. We'll be watching, rooting for our boys.
Like you said, John Marcus, great year for baseball, great year for the Cubs. Thank you so much. USC's architecture students are playing a key role in fighting one of Los Angeles' most challenging issues.
And one of the biggest brands in the United States is expanding by diving into the food industry. We'll have more after this quick break.
Guess what? I have some news for you.
There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It's good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month. That's a lot. Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow.
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
A USC architecture class is building houses for the homeless as part of the school's effort to connect with the community. The goal of the class has always been to design and build a structure, but this year it's a little different. The instructors added a community outreach component to the program.
This is a really exciting studio because it gives the students a really rare opportunity to look outside of the school and to actually take on really important societal issues. It's not just about finding the best solution for ourselves, but that our best work can come when we really take in the needs of the public at large.
The building program is sponsored by a foundation called Mad Workshop, which encourages architects to design structures that improve the lives of others.
Well, Amazon is reportedly planning on opening new stores where customers can pick up groceries they've ordered online. According to the Wall Street Journal, the internet retailer is planning on opening a series of stores that sell food items. The new store will appeal to those people who prefer picking up their food on their way home from work. And a career fair is going on in the Annenberg lobby today. Media companies like Time, Walt Disney Company, and KPCC are meeting students and taking questions. Guys, are you planning on visiting the career fair?
You know, I think I'm going to check it out. I'm dressed nicely. I'm dressed to broadcast. I'm dressed to impress. So I think I just got to print a couple copies of my resume and I'll head on out there.
Great luck that we're all just dressed in formal attire and we're ready to go out there and just slay and get jobs.
Perks of being an anchor.
I think no one's got it better, John.
It's good, but John and I have class after this, so we're probably going to have to miss it.
Yeah, you know, class, we're all busy people, and, trying to make time to go to temple. I went to temple last night for Yom Kippur services. It was really nice. It's just been a really busy week with midterms. How are you guys coping so far with that?
Well, hey, man, it's 6 o'clock. You must be hungry. You ready to break that fast?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
I am definitely down to get some food after this.
I've lost a lot of sleep the last 4 days, literally.
Well, I think it's so. We should all go get food right now at Campus Center. You guys can catch us there, too.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Ryan Thompson.
And I'm Sonica Bargo. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Have a great night.